5,000 years ago, along the banks of one mighty river, a civilization was born that would echo through all of eternity. From the sands of the Sahara rose the kingdom of Egypt, a land of pharaohs, of gods, of monuments built to outlast time itself. Each year, the Nile flooded, leaving behind rich black soil. From this simple gift of mud, a nation was fed, and an empire took root. Along the riverbanks grew papyrus, the sacred reed that gave Egypt its paper, its boats, and its very means of remembering itself. On slender boats of bound reed, the people of the Nile fished, traded, and traveled. The river was their road, their lifeblood, their world. Small villages of mud brick rose along the waters. Farmers, weavers, and builders, the first Egyptians, shaping a kingdom from clay and patience. They invented writing, hieroglyphs, sacred carvings, to record their laws, their prayers, and the eternal deeds of their god-kings. Scribes were the keepers of knowledge, the silent hands behind every decree, every prayer, every story Egypt would ever tell the future. Their craftsmen shaped clay into vessels, gold into jewels, stone into eternity. Egypt was a land that built everything to last forever. From the quarries of Tura and Aswan, they cut the bones of their monuments, limestone and granite, blocks heavier than 10 elephants. No machines, no wheels, just rope, sled, and the unbreakable will of thousands of workers dragging mountains across the burning desert sand. It was Imhotep, the master architect, who first drew the pyramid on papyrus. Genius made of geometry a staircase to the heavens. 20 years, 100,000 workers, 2.5 million stones. The Great Pyramid was not built, it was willed into being. Higher and higher the pyramid rose, until its tip pierced the sky, a mountain made by men, dedicated to a god-king. Pharaoh Khufu walked his rising tomb, knowing it would carry his name across thousands of years. In stone, he had found immortality. And finally, the gilded capstone was set in place, gleaming gold catching the sun, a beacon visible for miles across the desert. The Great Pyramid of Giza, the only ancient wonder still standing, 46 centuries old, and still it watches over us. Beside it, they carved the Sphinx, guardian of the plateau, body of a lion, face of a king, the riddle of ages. Every morning, Ra was reborn, the sun god, sailing his solar boat across the sky, bringing light and life to Egypt. Anubis, jackal-headed god of the dead, weighed each soul against a feather. The just passed on. The wicked were devoured. Priests served the gods daily, bathing the sacred statues, dressing them, feeding them. The gods, they believed, truly lived among them. Karnak, the largest religious complex ever built. 134 columns reaching skyward, each as wide as a house. From Karnak to Luxor stretched the avenue of sphinxes, 3 kilometers of stone guardians lining the most sacred road in Egypt. At Abu Simbel, Ramses carved his own face into the mountain, 4 colossal statues, 65 feet tall, staring eternally into the sun. They offered lotus and bread, wine and incense. To honor the gods was to keep the cosmos in balance and Egypt alive. Cats were sacred protectors of the home, embodiments of the goddess Batet. To harm one was a crime punishable by death. On feast days, the gods left their temples. Their statues carried on golden barks, paraded before crowds drunk with joy and reverence. The festival of Opet, when Ammonius, Mut, and Khonsu sailed the Nile to renew the pharaoh's divine power. Egypt celebrated for weeks. When a new king ascended the throne, the double crown was placed upon his head, uniting Upper and Lower Egypt under one ruler. The pharaoh was no mere ruler. He was the living Horus, divine intermediary between the gods and humankind, holding all Egypt in his hands. From across the known world, tribute flowed to Egypt's court. Gold from Nubia, cedar from Lebanon, ivory, leopard skins, wealth beyond imagining. At Kadesh, Ramses II clashed with the Hittites, one of history's earliest recorded battles, and one of its most brutal. Ramses claimed total victory and carved his deeds into a dozen temple walls. Whether he truly won, the stones still proudly proclaim he did. And then there was Tutankhamun, a boy king dead at 19 who would lie undisturbed for over 3,000 years. Cleopatra, the last of the pharaohs, scholar, strategist, seductress. She ruled with cunning, and died rather than be paraded as a slave. In the markets of Thebes and Memphis, fortunes were traded in grain, fish, gold, and stories. Egypt's heart beat loudest among its merchants. Egyptian goldsmiths were the finest of the ancient world. They worked the precious metal into scarabs, collars, and masks fit for eternity. Egyptian linen was so fine the Greeks called it woven air, worn by pharaoh and farmer alike. The cloth of life and of burial. Music filled their nights, harps, flutes, drums, and the clap of dancing hands. Even the gods, they believed, danced with them. Children played with wooden dolls, balls of papyrus, and the ancient game of senet. Egyptian childhood was, for many, full of laughter and light. Bread was sacred, eaten every day, offered in every temple. Egyptians baked over 40 different varieties before the world knew yeast. Becoming a scribe took 12 long years of study. Few succeeded, but those who did held the keys to the kingdom, knowledge itself. Egyptian doctors performed surgery, set bones, mixed remedies from herbs. Their medical wisdom would influence healers for thousands of years to come. They mapped the stars, charted the seasons, predicted the floods. From their rooftops they read the heavens like an open book. And when one died, their body was preserved, wrapped in linen, blessed with prayers, so that the soul could find it again in the afterlife. And on temple walls, the hieroglyphs waited, a language no one could read, holding the memories of a civilization the world had lost. Inside, treasures were laid, gold, food, weapons, servants of clay, everything a king might need to rule his kingdom in eternity. Still they stand, older than empires, older than scripture, older than memory. The pyramids, Egypt's promise that nothing truly ends. A civilization built for eternity, and against all odds it has reached us. This is the legacy of ancient Egypt. This is forever.